All right, writers. So last week we finished up with poetry. We had been writing poetry for about 2 weeks. And again, if we were together, we would be doing a little bit more work with it. We would be writing different kinds of poetry. We would be exploring other types of poetry, but really difficult for us to do that when we can't be together and we can't have the things that we need in our classroom. So we made the best of it and we were able to explore and write quite a few different kinds of poems. And we're going to be getting ready to move on to a different type of writing. But before we do that, since we are in between units, this whole week we are going to focus on some grammar skills. So in the past, we have done complete sentences, subjects and predicates. We've done parts of speech, nouns, verbs, adjectives. We did a little bit of adverbs before break, before we went into remote learning. We will probably visit that again. But we are going to do some other grammar skills that we have not done yet. And these are all different skills that we need to do in second grade before we get ready for next year. So for today, we're going to be working on something called collective nouns. So you know that a noun is a person, a place, an animal, or a thing. And a collective noun is a noun that we use to name a group of things, a group of people, or a group of animals. So we can name animals like squirrels or elephants. We can name groups of people. We can name things like tables or trees. So I'm going to introduce to you a bunch of different collective nouns we use to name groups of things. Some of them you've heard of before. Some of them you will be quite surprised that it is what we actually call a certain group of things. We're going to be doing a lot of animals. And then after this quick lesson, I have a sheet that you can either print off or fill out in Google Slides. So right here we have a lion. This is one lion. Right? So we call it by its name, a lion. But when we have more than one lion, the collective noun we use is pride, a pride of lions. Pride is the collective noun because it is the word that we are using to name this group of lions. Okay? We have a goose up here, but more than one goose is called geese, and a group of geese is called a flock. Flock is very often used for any type of bird. It is the collective noun for a group of birds. This one is for geese specifically. You can have one hedgehog, this cute little guy, but a group of hedgehogs is called a prickle. Prickle of hedgehogs, which is interesting because their little spikes here are probably quite prickly. So when you have a group of hedgehogs, the collective noun that we use to name them is a prickle, group of hedgehogs. You can have an elephant, but a group of elephants is going to be called a herd of elephants. Not herd as in what you do with your ears, but herd spelled H-E-R-D. It is a collective noun for a group of elephants. You can have one hippopotamus, right? More than one hippopotamus is actually called a hippopotami, which is kind of a silly word. And then a group of them is called a bloat of hippopotami. Tongue twister. Try saying that one 3 times fast. So bloat is our collective noun. We have a fish, which is one fish, but a group of fish, as many of you have heard before, this is a common one, is a school of fish. So school is our collective noun. It is the noun we are using to name a group of fish. So we have a squirrel here. What do you think would be a good name for a group of squirrels? Thinking about how they've named the other ones. Maybe nutty or it's an interesting one. All right, well, you have a little homework here. I'm actually not going to tell you what you would call a group of squirrels. I want to see if you can actually find out what the collective noun is for a group of squirrels. I do know that one time I was told when we were at the beach and we were in the ocean, there was a huge group of stingray. Huge group. There was tons of them, and their wings were coming up out of the water. And one of the lifeguards said that a group of stingray is called a fever. So that is another collective noun. There's so many different collective nouns. You definitely can explore, do a little Google search of collective noun lists, and you'll see all the amazing collective nouns for so many different groups of animals. Right? We have some more here, right? If you have a wolf, you have one, but more than one would be a pack of wolves. A whale by itself is just a whale, but a group of them is called a pod of whales. You have one bee, or a group of bees is called a swarm. And you have one puppy, but a group of them is called a litter. So these words, many of them you've heard before, but now you'll know that they are called collective nouns. It's actually a type of noun, very specific type of noun. A group of soldiers, right? Because it's not just animals. A group of soldiers is an army. A large group of people is a crowd. A group of people playing football or baseball or soccer, or any group that is playing a sport together is called a team. And then a group of school children is called a class. Right. So what I have here for us is a little practice. This is going to be posted on our website. There is a Google Doc for you to print, and there's also going to be one that you can fill out right online. So you do not need to print it unless that's easier for you and you have a printer, but you also can do it right online, and then it's very easy for me to see your work when you do it that way. So what you're going to do is you're going to use this group of collective nouns up here in the box to fill in the blanks, right? We have swarm, choir, flock, team, litter, crowd, army, box, basket, and class. And many of these were in our lesson, and some of them you're just going to have to use the clues in the sentence to help you, but I think you'll do a fantastic job. And just remember that a noun is a part of speech. It's a person, place, or thing, and animals. And collective nouns are nouns that we use to name a group of people, places, animals, or things.